We live in a pretty rural area, and there was a nightclub a lot of people were visiting on the weekends. Because of the next big city being so far away, many of those visitors had to drive a while to get there. One night, a young woman didn't feel so well and decided to drive home a bit earlier than her friends. She gets into her car and is on her way home. Not far away from the small town the club was in, she notices some animals standing on the road she was driving on. She slows down a bit and approaches the supposed animal with caution. To her surprise, it is not a deer, but a baby stroller standing in the middle of the road. She comes to a stop and against her better judgment decides to investigate. As she got closer to the stroller, she notices the headlights of a car in the distance behind her, which gives her a weird sense of safety because she doesn't feel that alone in the moment. The stroller is empty after all, and she pushes it to the side of the road and gets back in her car. Since she saw the lights of the car just a moment ago, she decides to let it pass her first before hitting the road again. The vehicle approaches and to her surprise comes to a stop right behind her. Both doors open almost immediately after coming to a halt, which gives her a bad feeling. So instead of waiting, she floors the gas and drives off. After a short while, she notices the same car behind her, and because the bad feeling still lingers, she decides to take a detour in the next village, making a turn here and there just to shake them off. Slowly, panic begins to set as the car is still behind her after some time and is now driving dangerously close and giving her light signals. This goes on for a while, and because she doesn't know what to do, she takes her phone out and calls her dad. After explaining the situation as well as she could, he advises her to just head home as fast as possible, and he would leave the front door open while calling the police in the meantime. She gets home, slams the door of her car open, and rushes into the house where her parents are already waiting for her. They close the door and wait for the police to arrive. A few minutes later, the doorbell rings, and instead of police, two worried-looking young men were standing there, asking if the girl they followed is alright. As it turns out, they were heading home as well after clubbing and saw somebody entering her car while she was pushing the stroller to the side of the road. They followed her so the guy in the backseat couldn't do anything. After she stopped in front of the house, the guy jumped out as well, and they were trying to chase him down, but he got away. Nobody knows what would have happened if the two guys weren't there at the moment. The road where this allegedly took place is a pretty remote area with lots of woods around it. I think I never read about this in the papers, which is strange considering the police were supposedly involved. I still get creeped out every time I'm driving down the same road though, so I thought I'd share the story. I feel like this is scarier than any ghost story because people are fucking evil. They're scary. People are scary.